Today we got something truly special to share with you. Multi-award winning Ford Escort RS1600i. Let's dive into the details of this breathtaking machine. The RS1600i stands proud in that sunburst red, exuberating shine. That's a result of the original factory finish paintwork, as the first generation of the Mark III Escort carries the authentic orange peel texture to the paintwork. It's a hallmark of the time. The original RS1600i decals adore the bodywork, reflecting its true history. It's evident that this car has been in concours from the early 80s to the late 90s. This award-winning modified RS1600i is legendary in its field. Step into the RS1600i and the first thing that greets you is those astonishing interior features, such as the stark grey crushed velvet seats with those deep bolsters. And sat in the middle is an RS badge. The first thing that meets you when you're sat in the driver's seat is that beautiful steering wheel with the RS badge. And checking out the dashboard, there isn't a crack to be seen. At the time of filming, this car has only covered just over 44,000 miles, and it's a no previous owner. Checking out the engine bay and gearbox, and the first thing you see is that aluminium finned rocker cover, which sits on top of the CVH engine. This engine produces 115 bhp, mated with the Bosch K injection system, which allows the top speed of around about 118 mile an hour and a 0 to 60 in 8.7 seconds. In this engine bay, it's totally show condition, and what stands out is those twin coils over the XR3 distributor. The gearbox is unique with slightly shortened gears. The RS1600i makes easy gear change a sheer joy. And once you're out on the motorway, the 5-speed box comes into its own. Wheels, tyres and brakes. This RS1600i boasts sensational alloy wheels and remained untouched, proudly sporting their original Dunlop D4s. Included in the boot is a spare, which has never been used on the vehicle. All the tyres are in really good condition, but let's be fair, they're old and they're probably out of date and need replacing. At the front brakes, the discs and calipers have been modified from the original, which now has Sierra XR4i discs and calipers with a better compound of brake pad. At the rear, it's got 8-inch rear drums, which was actually provided by Ford Motor Company back in the early days. This is basically a standard rear brake kit from a van. The suspension back in the day had been modified, and this was using the X-Pack kit which was available basically for an XR3. So what was actually fitted to the car? At the front, it was 2 Bilstein struts and springs. At the rear, it was 2 Bilstein shock absorbers and the rear springs from the kit, and also the anti-roll bar. And it was pretty much available back in the day. At the time of making this video, the struts have been removed from the vehicle and the original ones have been put back in, and this was all request of the new owner. A history and journey of the RS1600i. It was introduced in September 1981, but this particular car was built in April 1983. It's one of 2,600 UK examples, particularly a gem, because there's only 560 sunburst red ones produced. This car was registered in May 1983 by the Rally Sport dealer Bristol Street Motors, Cheltenham, and delivered to Mr. Warwick. Mr. Warwick had kept a full journal of the journey of his experiences from day one. From the day it left the dealership, his conversations with Ford Motor Company trying to get the brakes sorted, because at the time Ford wouldn't pay for absolutely anything. The main complaint with this car was the brakes. They were absolutely terrible. They're almost like having a little Fiesta from the 80s. You press your foot on the brake and it doesn't do anything. Another big complaint Mr. Warwick had with the car was the way it drove down the motorway. As you're driving down the motorway, it felt as though the rear end was trying to meet the front end. It was absolutely terrible on motorways. And when it came to a bend, it was like it felt as though the back end was jacked up. Well, later on, Mr. Warwick installed an anti-roll bar to the rear, which helped the car considerably. Then later on, he decided that that was not really the way to go and was advised by Ford Borum to upgrade the springs and that would actually almost put it like the Rally Sport kit you could buy. Another complaint Mr. Warwick had from day one was the clutch. It continuously slipped, and even Bristol Street Motors said, oh, that's just standard with a car. Ford Borum advised Mr. Warwick to upgrade the clutch to a better compound, which was available at the time, and this was another thing you could get from the Rally Sport kit. Mr. Warwick has been a caretaker of this RS1600i since it was born, and he had it for around about 30 odd years. And in that time, he enjoyed it every moment, on the road and on the track, and one special place, concoursing. And now the car's been moved on to another owner, which now will enjoy it in concoursing and looking after it the same. And remember, the car is just a car, and we just look after them so other people can enjoy them just the same as we did. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share, and we'll see you again very shortly on the Crazy Baker channel. Laters!